Well, hello, boys and girls out there in Traderland. It's Doug here with Trade with Doug with another digital whiteboard Wednesday. Why you suck as a trader, part two. And I hope you're ready because today I'm bringing the heat. The heat. Lots of heat your way. That's what I'm bringing you. So I hope you're ready. Before I get started, let me make a few announcements. As I always say in the beginning of this, if you're tired of screwing around with this whole trading thing, the whole roller coaster, you're up, you're down, you're in, you're out, all that kind of stuff, go to tradewithdoug.com, click on the private community tab, start trading with me live. If you're a lover, an aficionado of the micro cap and crypto world, Sylvia Bellrock and I have created a totally free room for you. That's right, just for you. So you can come in there. We talk all crypto all day, trade penny stocks, trade micro caps. Beautiful short today on skin. Sweet, 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 sweet. Totally free. All the links are down in the description box. Get to it. Stop making excuses. Hang out with the Doug and Sylvia during your trading session. So we begin with part two, Digital Whiteboard Wednesday, why you suck as a trader. And here is part two. If you remember part one, I should say, was focused on time. Today I want to focus on two things. One is the importance of the level you are currently trading at. There are no randoms in markets. That's what we're going to talk about number one. The two, I'm not going to spell out the whole word because I'm totally lazy. I'm just going to type away. Awareness. You are unaware of your surroundings when you're making a trade. You see, when somebody comes into trading normally, the newbie, the rookie, the struggler, the inconsistent trader, is they're trying to use the same trading strategy and tactics in an ever-changing market. This is why you have these periods where you do really well for 2 or 3 months, then you go on a suck-a-fest. You do that because the market's not the same. It's changed. It's gone from extremely bullish to sideways. It's gone from extremely bearish to extremely bullish. Or whatever the asset is that you're trading, whether it's the tech sector, a specific stock, a specific asset, it doesn't make a difference. Everything goes through a cycle. What's hot today is cold tomorrow. What's cold today is hot tomorrow. And money simply just changes hands. That's all that it ever is in the market, just changing hands. So if you are a dip buyer, let's say for this example and demonstration, if you are a dip buyer and that was your go-to strategy in 2021, well, that was working. You can just blindly buy yourself some dips, sit around, collect your all-time highs. How's that working now? It's not, because the market has changed. Now, it's been a long time coming for the market to change, but that's the way it is sometimes. We've gone through this epic bull market, and now we're progressing through a change. And many of the traders who felt they were very successful September, October, November are now job hunting or going back into the workforce because they didn't take the time to study and do the what if, getting complacent with what's happening. You know, as I look back through my 2 decades of trading, I'm not saying that the future has to be the same way it was in the past. These times definitely could be different. But what if the market corrects more than 50%? Who says it doesn't have to? Who says this time is different? Maybe it's not. It was 80% in the dot-coms. What if? Happened twice in a decade that the market's lost 50%. We almost lost 35, 40 during COVID. So who's to say that it can't? Why would it be any different? Do we always have to immediately make a new high? No. That was something that was just relatively new to markets. What if we don't make another new high? What if the market doesn't make a new high for 5 years? Some of you might go, that's stupid as hell. That's exactly what happened in the 2000s after the dot-coms. I'm not comparing the years, but it was, in fact, something that did happen. So for us not to be aware of what potentially could happen, we don't have to fearmonger. We don't have to dwell on it on a day-to-day basis, but it still has to be back there in our mind. We have to be aware of the market cycle that we are currently in. Are we extremely bullish, extremely bearish, sideways, mildly bearish, mildly bullish, small pullback, big pullbacks, tiny pullbacks, big sell-offs? What are we experiencing right now? So let's take a look at that when we're talking about the market. For those who have participated in many of my videos, as I've been saying with the market mutterings, as I've been saying with all the videos I've done, let the charts be your guide. I've got the S&P 500 futures up here. And as I was saying up till today, the market was still, to some degree, a bullish market. It was still a bullish market. It was still in a bullish mode, even though we're in a short-term bearish cycle. Longer term, it is still bullish. And this is only, I think, maybe an 8% pullback, 10% pullback max from a 27% rally last year. So for the most part, even though you're in a shorter term correction, the longer term bullish trend was intact. Now something is happening right now as I'm doing this. We're going to close in like 1 minute here. So apologize if you hear the ring. Is as long as we were holding 4,300. So let's talk about levels for a moment. Big things happen at big levels. So when you're looking as a trader to make massive amounts of money, you're looking for inflection point moves. There it was. You are looking for these exacerbated moves, these huge moves. If you see them, why didn't I catch it? How do I know? Because things are most likely to happen at a certain level. One way or the other, you get the answer that you are looking for based on that level, because that tells you what happens next. Here's what I mean. Going into today, 4,300 was the level. We had dipped below it 5 times back here in January and early February. Market holds. The longer it doesn't close under that 4,300, the more it becomes vulnerable to a bounce. And that's what happens. We go above the 200-day, we recycle ourselves. And yesterday, we dipped below it, but still, market just throws that 13th hour haymaker to keep it closed. Well, today, it gives that up. And now look at the difference in the chart. Now you have reached an epic level where selling is high probability from here. Now I'm saying this because there's a lot of people out there, I buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Well, if you're going to buy the dip, you have to make sure that the selling is actually stopping or it's close to stopping. You have to be aware of the environment. So when we look at the current cycle that we are in, it's all based on the Fed. The Fed is the one that created the rally. The Fed is the one that cut the rates, made cheap money available. But right now, because of inflation, all eyes look at the Fed. What's going to be said in the Fed March meeting? Okay? The reason it's such an impactful moment at this time in history is because there's so many unknowns. When we first come out talking last summer, Jerome Powell says inflation is transitory, then retracts that statement and says that it's not. We all know that it's not. We know inflation is here. It's escalating. The Fed realizes that inflation is getting so much out of control. They now have to be more aggressive with rate hikes and more aggressive in pulling back QE. But is the market ready for that? Now, they've changed their statement several times. So when I'm saying what is the environment has never been in recent times so undecisive. We're not going to get any real clarity until that March Fed. Now, why am I even bringing this up? The reason I'm bringing it up is because how could you expect any rally or any real big money to be put to work in this market with so much uncertainty? So that automatically just makes buying not a good idea. Now, if you're an investor and you've got a super long time horizon and you want to start building positions and stuff on the cheap, that's different. But if you're looking to make swing trades 2 or 3 days at a time, you have different challenges now than you did 2 or 3 months ago. Last year, you had the Fed at your back. You had the bull market at your back. Now you do not. Now, you can certainly short and go with the current trend. But when things have such oversold readings as they do now, then you run the risk of being exposed down there and being spiked on, just like all the short sellers here. So every one of these levels that you go through means something and have different meanings to the overall scheme of the chart. But today's lesson focuses on always understanding what part of the cycle are you in. And from there, the second piece of that is understanding the depth of that cycle. Are you in the very beginning stages of that cycle? So back here, when you have a rally that's beginning, are you in the beginning stages of that cycle where your potential to grab the most upside alpha is there? Are you in the middle of this cycle where you have some room left to go, but maybe not a lot? Or are you the typical chaser that's all the way up here high, backing yourself into a corner? Because if you use the same technical analysis trading setup here versus here versus here, you're going to have different results on each one of those because of the cycle. So for today's lessons, always take a snapshot of where you are right now. Whatever you're trading, what is all of the details in its total environment? What are all those details together? Then you take your technical analysis and put it in there. Because maybe like a market like this, it's not a risk-on market. If we go more advanced here, it's not a risk-on market. We can't take big risks, definitely not to the long side. Because just because it's oversold doesn't mean it can't go further. This thing can definitely go down to 4,000 pretty easy here. That's probably what it's going to do. So we can wait. You can short, but you have to have a plan for shorting, positioned correctly, and understand the risk-off, risk-on principle. But for today's lesson, do yourself a favor. You have your technical analysis and your strategy for entering. But before you do that, get a good snapshot of where you are and the consequences of all outcomes. A, B, C, D, plan A, plan B, plan C. What could possibly happen? In a volatile, headline risky market right now, you can still make long trades and make a lot of money. You can make short trades and make a lot of money, but you need to be aware of how quickly this market can move in either direction since it's so headline sensitive and the emotional level of the participants are at highs. So anyway, guys, I hope this made some sense to you. As always, if you need some help, you know where I'm at. Thank you very much for watching today's video. I love you all deep inside my heart. I do. Take care. Trade well. Talk to you soon.